every vlogger start that way. What's up, guys? Why is that always the way that people start? It's the worst way that people start. But I'm excited that we get to come back and do a live stream on Thursdays. We are here. It's kind of transitioning a little bit. It is still FAQ, frequently asked questions, but it also is just a recap of what was talked about on Wednesdays. But before we do this recap, before we even talk about anything, let's get business out of the way. One, here's an important announcement that everyone needs to know that I found out today. I take Krispy Kreme donuts to some of the home groups that I go to, right? So on Thursdays, I have 7th grade boys and 7th grade girls, and I take Krispy Kreme donuts to both of them. I found out today that if you have a vaccine card and you have your first shot or whatever, and you take it in, they don't even read it. They just need to know that you have it. You get one free donut. One free donut. And you're like, Abe, that seems crazy. It looks like you only get one free donut. No. One free donut every single day until the end of the year. Ladies and gents, it is April right now. One free donut until the end of the year. You know how many donuts I'm going to eat? Dozens. So that happened. Last night we talked about summer camp. Summer camp is still, signups are going. It is filling up. We're excited. If you want to go, don't wait. COVID cases are dropping, so we've had more people show up to program, which we're really excited for. Absolutely love that. We have our next event, which will be Color Fight, which is on Cinco de Mayo. Which is the 5th of May, if you didn't know from my glorious Spanish speaking skills just now. Also, I've been talking with Alyssa, and I think we're going to add a virtual trivia night. I think that's a good idea, and it just is trying to figure out when we're going to add that in. But it'll be thrown in, and so you can participate from anywhere. We'll have prizes. We'll have all kinds of stuff. And then LJ, one of our leaders, came to me with the idea of doing a dodgeball tournament where you guys pay like $1 a student or $2 a student. You make teams of 6, you invite people, and then you play, and then the winners get prizes or get all kinds of stuff. So we are excited about that. So LJ is going to plan that event. He's going to help me, and we're going to get it going. But that'll probably be in like June. And then we will kick off summer. We're just really excited. Also, if you didn't know, we have VBS, which is happening through Miss Susie. She runs our children's ministry. And I need some water real quick. Let's take a little.
I was ready to go get some.
Wet my whistle. We are doing VBS, which is Vacation Bible School. It's a little different for middle school. We actually go off-site. And I'm still getting together what we're going to do. I will figure that plan out today and make phone calls. But usually we do super fun stuff. Middle school has a really cool program where we actually leave, go do stuff, and then come back every day. So I'm really excited about that. But that runs through Miss Susie. So if you're going to sign up for VBS, you got to go to ljpress.org/events, I believe, or ljpress.events/VBS. ljpress.events/VBS, and you can sign up for that kind of stuff. It's fun. So all that to say, we have a lot going on. We're excited. Sunhouse is in full swing right now. So stay up. We would love to have you here. We'd love to have you on Wednesdays, 5 to 7. Bring a friend. They're always welcome. We're going to start bringing back stuff slowly with programs. So the next thing we bring back in program is we're going to start reselling our sodas like we used to do. We've started serving dinner the way that we used to do it. And so we're going to slowly bring things back, but we're going to keep masks on and keep all the stuff going on. And the link to get to VBS has been dropped. Also, can we put the link for...
There you go.
Sweet. It's been dropped. Love that. It's in the chat right there. Also...
It's going to show up on your screen.
Love that. Oh, love that. Can we also, we'll leave that up there for like 30 seconds, but we also get the summer camp one up there. That'd be great. While Alyssa's finding that and doing it, by the way, Alyssa is so helpful. If you didn't know, Alyssa runs my program. She basically runs what I do and helps keep what I do all good and packaged for everyone. because sometimes I'm a mess. But I'm excited because I want to talk about Mark and what Mark is doing in chapter 2. And he is like painting this picture of who Jesus is in a different way. And he's trying to get us to understand that there's a way that we live if we want to live like Jesus. There will be a link that's going to come up right there with summer camp. There is a way that we live if we want to live like Jesus. And then there's a way that we live if we have no interest in that. Boom, look at that, right there. That is the link, right there. But we are in Mark chapter 2, so I'll do a little reading, but we're going to talk about this because I want to talk about what is happening in this scripture and what is happening in Mark as he writes. And so what got me focused on Mark chapter 2 yesterday is I was doing this YouTube style dive, and I went and looked up chameleons, and it got me thinking of the idea of blending in and standing out and all those things. And so just to recap, we talked about that. We talked about what it looks like to live like Jesus and stand out versus blending in. And so when we read last night, we read about this idea or the story of Jesus walking along as he was teaching, walking along this water area, and he encounters Levi. And as he encounters Levi, he says, "Levi, come follow me." Levi drops what he's doing. He goes and follows Jesus. And as he goes and follows Jesus, he then hosts this dinner that he's having, or this party with friends, and invites Jesus in. And Jesus goes. I just remembered Levi wasn't the fisherman. Levi was the tax collector. So Jesus was walking along the water, saw him at his tax collector booth. Sorry, I had to fix that. But then he goes to this party, and there's these tax collector people there, and the Pharisees, they make a comment. But all that to say, what's happening is Levi encounters Jesus. And his first inclination, or his first thing that he decides to do, is invite Jesus to go into where he is. And sometimes that's how we, when we encounter Jesus, that's kind of what we do, right? When we encounter who Jesus is, we then invite Jesus to come join us in whatever we're doing. So that's friends or doing whatever. And Jesus doesn't expect us to be a certain way. That's why when Levi invites Jesus, he invites Jesus to this group of tax collectors who are these hated people who used to steal from people and do all the weird things. And so he invites him. And then when Jesus gets there, he does this interesting thing because he just sits there and he eats with them as if nothing is different. Jesus has no interest in being around people that are trying to force you to be something that you're not. Jesus is into this relationship idea, and so things change through time. And so Jesus, as he goes to this dinner, never once says, all of you tax collectors are wrong. Never once says, hey, if you're a tax collector and you're here, you shouldn't be doing that. Or never once says, all of you guys are sinners or going to hell. None of that comes out of his mouth. Instead, he just sits at the table and eats and hangs out with all of them. And it doesn't even make reference to him being the main event at this party. What's cool about this is everyone at this party has to know who Jesus is because he's done miracles, he's done all the things, he's teaching, he's doing everything. And as he does this, and as people know about him, he has the choice to either blend in or stand out. And Jesus, just by who he is, stands out and is set apart from this crowd. And I think that we also, just like we have that in common with Levi, when we encounter Jesus, we bring him in. We have this in common with Jesus, that we have this opportunity to either stand out or blend in. But Jesus, and this relationship with Jesus, constantly is asking for us to stand out. Never is it asking us to blend in. That's just not anything of what Jesus wants for us. Because if we start to blend in and we look like the crowd, what's the point, right? And then we get to the last part where the Pharisees come and they say my least favorite thing, and they say, look at Jesus hanging out with this scum. And that's so heartbreaking, because sometimes that's how we view people outside the church. And sometimes that's how we view people that do things that we deem as not good. Like, oh, they're lesser. Oh, they're scum. Or, oh, that's not what I would do. That's what people did and are currently doing to the ostracized communities. And like even during COVID, we had this moment where the Black Lives Matter movement was having like protests and riots, and there was a huge Christian contingency that was saying like, oh, how dare they, or oh, that's just, I can't believe they would do that. Instead of trying to empathize and understand, they were condemning, and they were playing this role of the Pharisee. And then Jesus, he does what he does best, and he confronts the Pharisee, which we didn't even focus on this part last night. But what he says is, I haven't come for those that are healthy. I've come for those that are sick. I've come for those that know they need me, not those that think they are righteous. And what Jesus is doing is he's setting up this paradigm where he's fighting against the religious law. And he's making this tension where the Pharisees are saying, no, we're the top. And he says, you're not the top. I'm the top. And this is how we should be living. And they're going to like lock fists and constantly be fighting until it comes to Jesus's crucifixion. But that's what we talked about last night. And I think it's important to, as we go forward, to think that, or to understand that Jesus is calling us to make that decision if we want to stand out or blend in, but also he's giving us the example of Levi and saying that we can follow suit and say, hey, we encounter Jesus, we can bring him in. And that doesn't mean necessarily, like it's always nerve-wracking. When I was little, I never knew how to tell people about Jesus, never wanted to. I thought it was embarrassing when I was little. And then I realized that most people don't learn about Jesus through your words. Most people learn about Jesus through your actions. If you act, or if you know who Jesus is, your actions will show that. How you love people shows how you love God. If that's true, then most people will see something different in how you act if you know Jesus. And so it's a cool little story and a cool little thing to show that, like, even if you don't know what to do or what to say or how to bring Jesus in, it's really just about how you treat people, how you act, how you interact with those people in your community. We talked about last night the idea that maybe people poke fun at each other. Maybe people argue with each other. Maybe people are really sassy with each other, and how those things can stem from like insecurities and stem from almost like disrespect of each other, which is scary. But the cool part about it is there is nothing that is outside of who Jesus is. Like, he can bring us back, and he can and engage with us in all those things. So I'm excited that we're doing this. I'm excited that we're going to continue going through Mark. If you ever have a question when we're going through Mark, ask me. You can ask it on Thursdays. You can ask me on Wednesdays, because I never want it to be confusing. This book is old. It's confusing. It's sometimes it's really hard to understand. But I spent years in school just to get this so I could dumb it down for even myself. Because sometimes I read this and I'm like, what is going on? But I will help you guys understand, and I will help you guys get where you need to go. But yes, so remember, we will keep going through Mark. We have 16 chapters of this. 16 weeks is what we're doing through Mark. I'm excited. It'll be such a good read. It'll be good through all of this. And then as we're continuing, home groups are going to shift. April 26th, that week, is the last week that normal home groups will happen. I will shift it, and we will like do movie nights or something next month. We're trying to figure out how we're going to do that and what that's going to look like. But we will do movie nights instead of those, and we will do a new game plan for how we're going to do home groups over summer and then transition back into our school year. So I'm excited for all those things. We will keep updating you on events, and we will keep updating you on everything that's coming out in Sunhouse. And should I just pick a random person?
Yes. Every single week. Let's
Every single week, I'm going to pick a random person, and then your job is to send, you comment on this video. Comment on this video. That's how we're going to do that. That's how we will do that. And so if you know this person, you just have to, I don't know, tell them, and they'll comment. So we'll do a quick little switch. Super easy. Boom. We'll do that. We'll do this. These are all the people that were here last night. You can't see it. You can't see it. So I'm gonna just do this, blah, 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 blah. Max Saban. Right there, Max Saban.
Do you want me
So,
to write it in?
absolutely. I usually have him on 7th grade guys nights. And so if you know him and he's not going to see this video or he doesn't watch this video, if you know him, send him a message, because then he just has to comment on here and he'll get free Starbucks. That's what we'll do, free Starbucks. I'm excited for that. We're going to transition this also over summer into like a game show type-esque thing that we're going to do during the day or during nights, and I'm really excited about that. But stay tuned. But yeah, I love you guys. We will shut this down, and we will see you guys next week.